Hello everybody. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. With a bit of a smile, if you want to implement OKRs and really want them to fail, I'll give you some advices right now. How to make them fail really, really quickly. If your CEO, for example, says, okay, we're implementing OKRs and you really don't want to do it, I'll let you know how to fail them. Who am I? Nice to meet you. I'm Kathy Zellner, 39 years, oh God, 39 years old, born and raised in Munich, most of the time a happy person, I would guess. I've worked with OKRs quite for a long time. So since I guess 6 years, maybe for some of you, 6 years isn't that a long time. I've implemented OKRs in a couple of companies and also I spoke to a lot of companies, even at the beginning and at the time when we were adjusting the framework in the first company, because I wanted to know why OKRs are working and but mostly why they are not working. So I've talked to a lot of people and seen it by myself in some companies. What are the success factors and what you shouldn't do if you want to work with OKRs successfully. So, meaning just what I will tell you right now, do it flip reverse, do it the other way around. You know, when I say what to do if you would like to OKRs failing, just do it the other way around. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. I'm a goal digger. I'm a networking lover. So if you afterwards you want to connect, feel free to just ping me on LinkedIn. And me as myself, I'm a company designer. I'm working as a organizational experience or developer in a startup called Milo, where you can subscribe for bikes. Um, that's what I'm doing right now. I've worked in startups, but in bigger companies as well. So everything that I will tell you right now is for smaller companies, for startups, or for grown up entrepreneurs. All right, let's start into the topic. If you want OKRs really to fail, let's start at the beginning. Seed as many doubts as possible in the management before introduction. Meaning, if you really want your leadership team, um, because they're highly important for the success of OKRs, and if you want OKRs to fail, try to seed doubts in them, that the management isn't sure if they would like to do it because the employees will feel it or see it if they have doubts in their mind. That's really cool when you're going into the plannings and they don't know if they want to stick to stuff that you want to do with the OKRs or even the framework itself, whether it works or not. Um, that's a really cool thing. And I would start with the CEO, to be honest. By starting with the doubts, start with the CEO and really ask him if he really wants to have those cycles and isn't that really a long time for the planning for the whole organization and all that stuff he or she maybe already thought before and try to push hard the doubts and then go to the management, to the leaders and say, yeah, you know, dear leaders, when we're having OKRs, it's really hard for you to just implement ideas from one day after the another and say, dear team, I had a vision. Let's do it the other way around. Just stop working on what you did before, do it the other way around, because some leaders really like to do that. And with those, you have it really easy to implement or to seed some doubts within the management. Second one, I like that one as well. Um, when you are implementing OKR, please don't let your folks know why you are doing it. please hide the purpose of that. Just implement it and say, okay, this is a new management tool. We had a couple before, they didn't work. So might be the same with OKRs. This is just some goal setting, and we just want to see what you're doing the whole day, and that's it. Nothing more. Because if they know the advantage of OKRs, implementing it to fulfill the strategy, to know that you have short term cycles, just to see whether parts of your strategy are working or not, and to work on innovation and see whether in short term cycles, whether it works out, that you have the possibility to get more alignment in your company, that you are more on the prioritization part, that you say also, okay, ours is a commitment for us as a management to say, okay, some stuff we really in that quarter, we won't do it. That has a bigger impact on the company, meaning they have a they're more happy to use OKRs. So if you really want OKRs to fail, don't let them know why you're doing it. You know what I mean? So it's better just not to let them know. And as well, please don't explain them how OKRs are working. What is important with OKRs, meaning an objective is always a whole sentence, and that there is that's a higher purpose behind it, and you should measure your objective. It's not measurable, and that the key result should be measurable. Don't let them know, because if you don't let them know, it's way harder for them to work on that. It's when they're working in the next 3 months, they're not sure, okay, what did we meant with that objective, and how did we exactly want to measure the key results. That's a good way how OKR can fail. Just don't let them know. And if they ask questions, make sure not to answer them, or to answer them in a correct way. Just say it's another management framework, and because our CEO wants to do it, we will do it. That's a good way to do it. Just imagine you're in the planning phase, and you set up your OKR sets with the teams, and or not, just let's say begin at the company level. If you decided to have company OKRs as well, make more than 5 objectives. This, it's you can do it. I know you can do it. You want to do it. I can feel it. You want to have more than 5, huh? And you have employees. They get a salary, so they should work for it, huh? Meaning 5 objective is just yeah, nice to have, but I know you're better than that. You can have more. Because if you only have not more than 5 objectives, um, you're too focused. They're getting too much fun with the OKRs. You know what I mean? It's easier for them to work on their goals and on their targets, and really are always telling the story of just imagining you invite friends at your home, huh? And you want to make a great dish, and on the one hand, you can make a 3 meal course. And on the other hand, it could be a 10 meal course. Um, the same amount of time, just imagine that. And if you're inviting the people, you think of, okay, 3 meals course, I have enough time for my shopping list. I can check whether I have enough dishes at home. I have enough time to prepare the 3 courses. On the other hand, if you have 10 meals you want to cook, or 10 courses, you have not enough time. Maybe you forget something in the when you're at the grocery store, and then you're at home and see, okay, great, I don't have enough dishes, and I have not enough time to complete my meals. So what will happen? Maybe I over exaggerate a little bit. Might be that you're professional cooks, but for myself, it works pretty well. I won't get a single meal on the table. But with a 3 meal course, there is a highly chance that I will do. Meaning, if you want OKRs to fail, in sense of you get nothing on the table, please make more than 5 objectives. If you want, if you're a crazy person and want to work that OKR works, just a smaller hint from my side. Right now, some experts are really discussing about maybe even 3 objectives are enough. And I can tell you from my point of view, um, that's a really, really good approach, but depends a little bit in what the team needs. There are some teams where the daily business, it helps them to put the daily business in the OKRs as well, because they needed to prioritize a little bit more. And there are other teams, maybe a little bit newer, more on project base, that can be really helpful just to have 3 objectives. But you're in that room, meaning you want to fail with OKRs. So remember to yourself, put in there more than 5 objectives. Yeah, that's a great one as well. And I've seen it in so many companies I've talked to and asked them, hey, why did OKRs fail in your company? And the first answer always was, yeah, that didn't match with us. And I was, oh, okay, all right. Tell me more about it. How did you work with it? So yeah, we had the planning. Yeah, we had the planning. I said, okay, and furthermore, what did you do working on the OKRs? Yeah, they worked on the OKRs. Okay, did you had bi-weeklies or weeklies? Did they graded the key results? Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, okay, interesting. And did you had a review? I think reviews, to be honest, is maybe the most fun part of OKRs, knowing what worked out and what not, and how the with the retro, if the framework matched to them, or if you should do some adjustments. That is the most fun part of it. And taking the results of the reviews into your strategy process as well, this is so cool for the strategy. But yeah, they didn't do it. And that is mostly the part where the people think, okay, we take the time to go into the planning and then nothing happens. Maybe a lot of a retrospective, huh? Where you come around and say what is working and what is not working, and doing a retro without working on that afterwards. People get just annoyed of it and thinking, okay, why are we talking? Nothing changes. Same with OKR and the planning. If you only have the planning and do nothing and only have plannings after plannings, they're getting annoyed. So if you want to fail with OKRs, do it that way. It's a little bit more effort you have to put on it, because at the beginning they're highly interested. That takes a little bit longer for them to fail, but it's guaranteed that you fail. So this is more of a marathon. But if you want to really make sure you're failing, do that. Huh? If you want to make it to be a pro, do everything of what I will advise you to do. That one is interesting as well. So if you have your OKRs, and before maybe in your company or company you have heard of, a thing is what is highly complex for your employees and your coworkers, adjusting all the time the targets, thinking of, okay, we said we do A, and the day after, no, let's just skip it, let's do B. So even without OKRs, this is really annoying. But if you have OKRs and say, okay, we have a proper process and we stick to it, and you as a leader, or even if you're CEOs and saying, okay, that is fun, we can scare the whole company all the time and deprioritize the topics that they're working on it. Go in the process the whole time and say, let's adjust our targets. Maybe every 2 weeks is cool, but monthly is on a good base as well. And please don't ask the team members if that is a good idea, and please don't let them know why you are doing it, what may be behind it, because sometimes, rarely, there are topics from the outside, where you can say, okay, it really highly makes sense that we have to adjust, because otherwise we really have, for example, a legal problem with our company. For example, the DSGVO. Yeah, maybe you have heard of that. A couple of years ago, because I was working in the media branch, that was a big bang for us. That was really from one day after another to the other. We had 1 week to implement a lot of stuff, and so we had to adjust. But we made the mistake to explain it to our employees. So OKR is still working there. If you do adjustments, do them randomly and don't explain it to them. And even in the planning process, it would be really cool not to ask for them for their opinions. So maybe they have great ideas, and you bring their company or your company forward with OKRs, letting them fail, that doesn't match. Don't ask your employees for their opinions. A good advice as well. What is really nice, by the way, just without any jokes right now, I'm not a fan of bonuses, to be honest. I'm not a fan of bonuses, individual bonuses as well, because most of the time it happens that you do it on a yearly base, setting the targets for when do you get your bonus at the beginning of the year. And, times really changes that fast, and you should it would be fair for the company to adjust the bonuses on a regular base, but that is not maybe not fair for your employees. Or if you say, okay, let's look every 3 months on that, or even on a monthly base, just to say we're still sticking to the strategy of the company and what's good for the company. It is so much time you have to put on that. But if you have a bonus system, it would be really, really cool, if, again, now it's more the on I'm more on the joke side again. If you want to let OKRs fail, link it to the bonus payments, because OKRs, maybe you have heard it before. Um, they're more the moonshot goals. You really want to reach for a bigger goal. You want your employees to go a little step further and say, okay, that is a goal that is not so easy for us to achieve. But if you link it to a bonus, they will make sure, for a very, very good reason, and that has nothing to do that the employees are just stupid or selfish. It's because you have two targets. On the one hand, you want to do something good for your company and reaching for higher aims, but if that is coupled to to your personal payment, you think twice if you want to reach for a moonshot goal or you want to stay on Earth, if you know what I mean. So if you want OKRs to fail, please link it to a bonus system behind it for bonus payments. And that one is for most of the companies, I would guess, also a really good advice. That doesn't depend if you're a startup, if you're bigger, if you're smaller, but the bigger you get, the more important it is. If you want OKRs to fail, please, no one should be dedicatedly responsible for OKRs. So, meaning, if you implement the framework, it should be your framework at the end. You can make really a lot of adjustments in there, meaning who is planning when, what do we need for the alignment, who is talking to whom. For example, in the previous company, we had something called prio meeting before a priority, you know what I mean, a prior meeting. So we implemented that because we had some companies in between the company, and just realized that there are some horizontal topics that we should talk in a whole group about that, because we need resources or commitments from the others, that we should work on that. So we implemented that. By the way, just a short path I want to take with you. What I've observed with OKRs, they're kind of like glasses when you put them on, meaning you see stuff you didn't see before. What is not going well in your company, or where are maybe some problems in there, meaning, for example, the shared resources or the alignment topic. You will see that hardly with OKRs. So OKRs helped us seeing that in the previous company we needed a transformation. So what we did, thanks to OKRs, well, we went into with the with the transformation, we built cross-functional teams. We didn't have those companies afterwards, but being on a very cross-functional way, just to enable the teams way more to have the resources in their teams, and not asking, for example, BI or data science or the developers, we need you. Where are we right now in your scale, in your prio list? Can I give you some chocolate to be in front, in top of your prio? I think you know what I'm meaning. So you see a lot of stuff with OKRs, and you can adjust a lot of stuff with OKRs. So make sure, if you want to fail OKRs, that no one is dedicatedly responsible for the OKRs. Meaning, what I've seen as well in companies that failed, they had nobody really looking for the process, that you have appointments for the planning, that you have appointments for your bi-weeklies, and that you have appointments as well for your reviews and retros. Because implementing OKR and working with the framework is not that easy at the beginning. You have to build your OKR muscles. And thinking that the teams will do it on their own is wishful thinking. You need someone looking after the process and helping them as well. For example, OKR masters in your company. So no one should be responsible for the OKR process. That's a good way to make them fail. So I've gave you some, I think, good advices on the road to success, how OKRs can fail. Saw some doubts. Please don't explain OKRs. Have as many objectives as possible that you can have. Don't look at your goals, or the other way around, change them continuously the whole time. Link your OKRs to a bonus system, individual bonus, and please don't have any process owners with the OKRs. That is a way you can make OKRs really highly likely to fail. Um, I think I have another good one in my pocket as well. So I think you know the pyramid, beginning with the vision, the mission, the strategy, and then the daily business, huh? And between the daily business and the strategy, you have the OKRs. And what is really nice to do is hide your strategy. Even don't have a strategy, or try to hide it, so no one knows to what the OKRs are linked to. It's highly complicated for the team members, and even for the company, to find some good objectives, and that are not flying in the room, you know what I mean. So hide the strategy, don't tell them. It's easier to link them, or to guide them on the wrong path, or just to confuse them how to work with OKRs or how to use them. That is a really cool way as well. And another and last one, which I maybe love the most, please do finger pointing. Finger pointing is a nice thing as well. If they, when you're grading the key results, and there will be key results when they have dreamy goals and the moonshot goals, the ambition one, where they didn't reach the 100%, for example. Sometimes you have a 30%, a 40%. Just dive in there as management and don't ask why. That is really important as well. Don't ask why the status of the key result is like that. Just say that is bad. You don't appreciate the work of the colleagues. You are quite sure, just looking at the number, that they have done an awful job, and you're really disappointed of them. And the next time you want to see it differently. And as you have maybe key result leads, for example, so someone who is responsible that the key result is being pushed forward, um, point at them and say, hey, Johannes, for example, or Mareike, you did a bad job. Thank you very much for not doing your work. Let's look at your salary, for example. That is a nice one as well, how you can fail with OKRs. So on the other way round, coming to an end of my talking, and then I would love to get into a discussion with you and maybe talking about your questions as well. Um, if you want to make OKRs work, just do it the other way around. All the stuff I just told you, try to look at that and say, okay, I want to stick to five objectives. I really want to make sure that the management is aligned and believe in the OKRs. And if they have questions before, I try to answer them and try to convince them just to really go into the process and say, okay, we don't have MBOs as well, and that's not a nice to have thing. We really want to, as an organization, we want to work with that. And by starting with OKRs, make sure you have the time to train your company, maybe with funny examples. Let them, what I did sometimes, with the example of a chocolate factory. Just imagine you're a founder of a chocolate factory. What would be the OKRs for the next 3 months going to market? What would you imagine to do with that? Um, Let them learn on a funny way how to do it. Um, Stay close with the cycle. Do your bi-weeklies or maybe even weeklies? We switched to weeklies in our company right now. That is working really, really good. And don't change the content of the OKRs. The only time where you, in my world, you should change it is one day after the planning. If you realize, oh, I slept one night over it and there's something in there, I just realized that's not the right approach to work on that. Gather your team around and say, "Ooh, I think we should adjust," or do it in the midterm review. And otherwise, keep your hands out of it, out of the content. Um, Bonuses not linked to OKRs, please don't do it. And make sure that you have a dedicated person looking for the OKR process and helping the teams, guide them on a regular basis. Ask the team, is everything working for you? What I've done, and I've done it too late, to be honest, because I was a newbie. But that was a cool thing I've learned to do. When you see there are some, that the glass is showing you some stuff, that OKRs, or that there are some problems in the company and you think it's because of OKRs, make a deep dive into it. Make sure to see, is it linked to, is it a strategy problem? Is it an organizational problem you have because of the teams maybe too functional and not cross-functional, just for example? Or is it really a problem linked to the OKR framework? And then try to, when you have your topics selected to the different themes, it's way easier to work on that and gives you a little bit more relaxation with OKRs and saying, okay, there's nothing to do with OKRs. It is within our companies. It's just the glasses I've put on with the help of OKRs. So make sure that someone is responsible to do that and helps you working with the OKRs. So if you want to let them fail, I've gave you some really, really cool hints. If you want to let them work, just do it the other way around. Thank you very much for bearing here with me and listening to my 5 cents to that stuff.